Welcome back, Heroes in Training. Today we're going to be learning about bravery. Oh, you know who's brave? Captain Marvelous. Ooh, I once saw her save a chinchilla from a burning building. Well, it may have just been a marshmallow from a fire. I sure do like s'mores. Ooh, anyway, bravery is real hard. It's the one test I can't pass here. In order to show that I'm brave, I have to pet a lion. Like the cat lion, the animal lion. Kind of like in Daniel in the lion's den. And that's our story today, being told by the bionic brain. He can read books, like the book of Daniel, and how he was brave.
No, I won't be afraid. You are with me. You are right beside me every day. Even when it feels like everything's going wrong, I can look up to you, God, and find my strength. Your love has lifted me above the raging sea, and I just gotta say, your love makes me brave, and I won't be afraid. Your love makes me brave, I can face anything. Your love makes me brave. I was lost and afraid till you found me. You lifted me up and gave me strength. Anywhere that I go, you go with me. Oh, Lord, you give me the courage to live each day. Your love has lifted me above the raging sea, and I just gotta say, your love makes me brave, and I won't be afraid. Your love makes me brave, I can face anything. Your love makes me brave, and I won't be afraid. Your love makes me brave, I can face anything. Your love makes me brave. Your word will light my way. Your word will help me to stand. I know I'm safe with you. I know I'm held in your hands. Your word will light my way. Your word will help me to stand. I know I'm safe with you. I know I'm held in your hands. Your love makes me brave, and I won't be afraid. Your love makes me brave, I can face anything. Your love makes me brave, and I won't be afraid. Your love makes me brave, I can face anything. Your love makes me brave. Your love makes me brave. Your love makes me brave.
Hi, kids. Welcome to day 3 of superhero training. I know, sorry, I'm a little bit late, but sometimes these things happen. Now, today we're talking about bravery. And we have a great example of bravery in the Old Testament with a guy named Daniel. Daniel was in a great place. He was a long way from his home where he had grown up, but he was the favorite of the king where he was living now. But there were some people that, well, they were kind of mad at Daniel, and they were mad that the king liked Daniel more than them. So they set out to get Daniel into trouble. Now, you might know some people in your life that are that way. They get jealous. And maybe they try to get people into trouble. So, anyway, these people convinced the king to make a law that said that for 30 days, no one could pray to anyone except the king. Now, they did this because they knew Daniel prayed to his God 3 times every day. And they knew that Daniel probably wouldn't stop there. Now, here's the problem. Anyone who was caught praying to someone other than the king would be thrown into a den of hungry lions. That's not good. Well, I'm sure Daniel had to think about this some. I mean, I wouldn't want to be thrown into a den of hungry lions. And maybe he thought, what could 30 days hurt if I go 30 days without praying? But see, Daniel was in the habit of praying to God every morning, afternoon, and night, 3 times a day, and thanking God for everything that God had done for him. Well, I'm certain Daniel must have been worried about praying and what would happen if he prayed, and especially what would happen if he got caught. Daniel had a choice to make. He had a decision, and he decided to pray. Here's the thing about Daniel's choice. If I had that same choice to make, I don't know if I would have chosen to pray. I like to think I would have, but Daniel had to be very, very brave. He knew what he was facing. Daniel decided that it was more important to thank his God every day and risk being eaten by lions. That's scary, crazy scary. Well, most people wouldn't realize, or most people hear that story and think, wow, Daniel must have been very brave. And I'm sure he was very brave. But here's the thing. As soon as Daniel decided he was going to pray to God 3 times every day, God also made him even more brave. So not just, he didn't just decide to do it, he was brave enough to actually pray every day. So God made Daniel even more brave than he was. And I believe that if I was in that same situation, I don't think I'm as brave as Daniel. But if I made that same decision, I believe God would make me brave enough to do the right thing. I know actually that God will make me brave, because there have been some times in my life when I had a choice to make. Do I do this, the right thing, or do I not? Because the right thing is kind of scary. And when it came time to do the right thing, God gave me the bravery. God made me brave enough to do the right thing for him. Now, I'm sure you want to know what happened, even if you already know the story. Well, Daniel did pray, and Daniel did get thrown into the lion's den. I'm sure it was scary. But God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions up tight. And so Daniel just lay down and went to sleep for the night. The next morning, the king rushed out and looked down into the lion's den to see what was going on, because Daniel was his friend. And he looked down there, and he was kind of worried about what he'd see. But Daniel just looked up and said, "Hey, morning, king. Got any breakfast up there?" And the king was so happy. He had Daniel brought out. And as a matter of fact, all those mean people who had set Daniel up to get him in trouble, the king threw them into the lion's den. Oh, and the angel didn't shut the lions' mouths. So here is what I want you to remember about the story of Daniel. God did not make Daniel brave when he was thrown into the lion's den. God made Daniel brave way before that, when Daniel decided to do the right thing that God wanted him to do. Daniel chose to pray to God, to do the right thing, and God made Daniel brave enough to do it. When you have a choice to do what is right, what God wants you to do, or something not so scary, pray. God will make you brave to do what is right and to do what God wants you to do. Pray with me. God, I pray for all our superheroes in training, that you would make them brave when they need to be brave, and that you would let them see that your power, your strength is greater than anything in the world. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Remember, kids, as a hero, we vow to show strength through character, bravery against all odds, and remain committed to our paths in times of hardship.
Hi everybody, my name is Mrs. Patati and I'm here today to work with you at Summer Blast. What am I going to be doing, you say? I think I'm going to be working with visual arts. You know, I love doing art, and doing art together through using the computer is so much fun. You know, one of the things that we can do at home is spend time learning about art, and that's why I'm here with you today. We're going to be looking at some different angles, we're going to be using some different tools, and we're going to find out how you can become an artist just like God. All right, here we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a pencil, but I need you all to remember that if we go step by step, that's exactly what you're going to do, and you're not going to panic. When I work with art with my students, because I'm a teacher, one of the things that I tell them is this is an eraser, and we try really hard not to use it. Otherwise, you're erasing your art projects the whole time. So you just have to take a deep breath and work through what we're doing and listen carefully, and you'll be able to draw something, and it's going to be fantastic. Is it going to look just like mine? Nope, but that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to look just like yours. So I understand that you have an amazing superhero theme. You've got people like Captain Marvelous. Oh, gosh, I wish I could be like her. And then I've heard that there's many, many other people. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a superhero today. We're going to start simple, and I'm going to show you how to make the super S to begin with. All right, this is how we're going to start. So you're going to take your pencil, and inside of your paper, you are going to take and put a dot in the center. What does that do? That gives your eyeballs something to say, okay, yeah, I got this. All right. So then lightly, not hard, lightly, you're going to make a plus. Doesn't it look great? You'll get used to it. So what does that plus sign do? That gives your eyes a way to look at the paper and say to your brain, yep, I got the proportions right. We want to make sure that what I'm going to draw and what you're going to draw comes out about the same size. Otherwise, some of you will come out with little things like an ant, and some of your stuff won't even fit on the paper. All right, here we go. We're going to start simple, so listen to my directions. Here's the center point right here. I want you to take up and go about a finger, and you're going to put a straight line. Remember, please don't draw so dark. If you draw really dark, then if you have to erase, like our guidelines, you won't be able to. Next, you're going to do two slanted lines going away from each other. They're going to touch the guidelines, 1 and 2. All right, that's not too bad, right? You know how to draw straight lines. Well, the next thing we're going to do is a straight line 2. But first, I want you to go down the center guideline to about there. Doesn't matter if you're not perfect. Are you ready? So you're going to start on one side, take right here where the vertices of the lines are. That's where the lines come together. and you're going to draw it down to the point you just made. That's one. So guess what you're going to do? Start on the other side where the vertices is, and you're going to put your pencil on it and draw all the way down to touch the other one. And now you've made another one. Great. There's the outline. How simple is that, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about our S. Now, you can make S's a lot of ways. Today we're going to do a capital S, and we're not going to do a big deal with it, but we are going to have fun with it. But the first thing we have to do before we do our S is give ourselves a little space so that we don't go all the way through things. So we're going to take and we're going to make these little stitch lines. They're called dashes. Put them all the way, give yourself a nice parallel border inside your superhero logo. Now, what does that do? That's going to give your eyes something to look at so that there's space around the S. If it was just smashed up against the outside of the logo, you wouldn't see it as much. Here we go. We're going to start at the top right of the logo, and we're going to have to end at the bottom left. So here we go. A capital S. It's going to look like a giant snake. Now, is that exactly like the one that you've seen in your Summer Blast logo? No, but that's okay. We're going to have some fun with it. We're going to take and you're going to draw a straight line there, and you're going to draw a straight line there. And from there, I want you to draw parallel around and go down to the bottom, parallel around, and then they're just going to kind of join with that S you already have. Now, when I'm looking at my S, it's a little bit short right here, so I'm just going to add to it before I color it. There. Now, how do you look to see if it's what you like? Take your eraser. Yes, it's okay to use your eraser now. And we're going to erase some of our guidelines so that you can see, is it what you want? Do you have to erase them all? No. But before you color, you might want to do that because it'll show through. There we go. Now, keep practicing. All right, so here is one thing that we've done, right? But this is just practice. Look at how watercolors work. Seeps through to the next one. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do a superhero. Can anybody be a superhero? I think so. Depends on your attitude. And also, I would say that you have to be an incredible listener to be a superhero, because God's taught us through the Bible and His Word how He'd like us to be and how to treat each other. And I think superheroes treat each other pretty good. So I'm hoping you're learning a lot about loving each other and being kind and showing others then around you just how to be. All right, so here's our superhero. One thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to draw a boy superhero, because I believe that in your lessons and in your whole Summer Blast, your superhero, the guide that's taking you through everything, is a boy. If you want your superhero to be a girl, though, you can have it be anything you want, and I'll show you just by making hair a little bit longer. You can make it a boy or a girl. You can even make it look like you if you want. All right, here we go. So remember, what's the first thing that we do? We're going to draw our eyes to the paper, and we're going to go from here. Draw a little dot in the center. And from there, you're going to draw a light plus sign. 1. Notice I don't really care what the plus sign looks like. And 2. All right, we're going to make this really simple. We're going to take and draw it, and I'm just going to focus now on this paper. I won't look as much at you. You're only going to look at my hand and my drawing for a little while, okay? So here we go. The first thing I want you to do is on here, right where that little dot is, you're going to make a U. It's kind of like an upside down rainbow. And when you make that upside down rainbow, that's great. A happy face almost, all right? But that's not what it is. On top, I want you to take right here, there are 2 ends of your lines. You're going to draw a backward C and a forward C. Can't get it wrong. Then from here, you are going to draw lightly, because this is a sketch, something that looks like part of a rectangle. If you look at this, you can see that the lines go up and they curve slightly, and then the lines come down, but both of them connect on top of our C's. Now, this is where you can get a little bit fun with what you're doing. I'm going to do a boy superhero. So right here in the center, one of my favorite things about a superhero is that they usually have this great curl in the front of their head. So I'm going to draw that because that's what I want. But what I want you guys to do then is however you want to do the front of their hair. From here, I'm going to take and I'm going to draw a little curvy line that connects to the top of that C. And in art, what you do to one side, you do to the other. A little curvy line and draw to the C. Okay? We're going to work with symmetry here. Now, from here, this is not, he would have a square head. This is not a Lego superhero. So what we need to do is we need to take and make his head, give yourself a little bit of a bump there, so that's right there. And then here, I'm going to give my superhero a big hairdo. So curved line up, and then you're going to stop. And then from that line right here, you're going to go down, up, down, up, and then back to where we initially drew our line right there. You doing okay? Hope so. Good job. And then from here, we're just going to connect out into there. Now, if I erase my guidelines right here, so see these guidelines? If I take that and I erase it, boom, what do you have? You have hair of a superhero. How do you like the little swoopy up there? I think it's pretty good. All right, so I'm also going to erase this line straight down his face. Now what we see, it went from a curved line and part of a rectangle to you have a superhero's face. All right, so let's finish that face. What we need is every superhero has a smile. We're going to just do a simple curved line. If you want to draw a big mouth with teeth, if you want to have whatever you want, go for it. Now, we talked about symmetry. Right above here, we're going to draw 2 ovals. Remember, an oval looks more like an egg shape, needs to be big enough to see it. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. Does it have to be exactly the same size and same shape? Nope, no face has perfect symmetry. Inside here, please draw another oval. And then this side, another oval. Now, before we color things in here, one of the things you need to know about eyes is that with light, if you just take and draw a circle right there and a circle right there, and then color this in, I like using pencil to color things in, then it almost looks like a beautiful light is shining in our hero's eyes. We're not going to color that part in. And then we'll get this side. One thing I can see when I'm looking at this is I might want to have this part be a little bit deeper to match my other eye. But remember, they don't have to be perfect. All right, so now we have the head of our superhero. Well, what comes next? We're going to start now with the body. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to start, here's our guide center circle, and on either side, I want you to draw a slightly curved line and stop. Go to the other side, a slightly curved line, and stop. Now when you look at that, that little dot is going to be smack in our hero's Adam's apple. Nice. Now we're going to draw a curved line again, and stop. Good job. Now, you're going to have to work with me and just trust me on this. We're going to take right under here on either side. So I want you to think a superhero has a body, and you're going to need to draw, I want you to leave a little space, lightly draw 2 parallel lines, just like this, nice and light, because we're not sure exactly how we want them to be. Draw a curved line and up. And then right up here we go, 2 lines. Ready? From this side, over, stop. And then you're going to make like the side of a triangle. Stop. Other side, over and back. Now you can start to see that this is going to be the top of the body. Inside, you're going to draw a little curved line there and a little curved line there. Ready? Over, stop, and down. Over, stop, and down. All right, here we go. Right about here, it doesn't matter exactly where, you're going to draw a little bit of a curved line, and that's going to be our superhero's belt. Now, it's up to you. I think I'm just going to draw some belt loops like that, and I'm going to erase my guidelines. Okay? Here we go. Now, we practiced this, so this is perfect. Straight line, stop. Now you're going to draw 2 slanted lines. 1, 2, and then if you want to draw a little dot where your point's going to be, you can. 1, 2. Now I'm going to leave that blank because you're going to put whatever you want inside of there. But before we stop, one thing a superhero always has, except of course in The Incredibles, is a cape. Right here at these 2 points, I want you to draw a swooping line out and down, stop. Other side, nice arch and down. And then you're going to take and you want to make a curvy line all the way across. Now, Mrs. Batati's kind of turned out looking like an angel, so I'm going to settle that down just a little bit, because although we might think of them as angels, today we're talking about superheroes. Calm that down a little bit. All right. Here we go. Now, when you get your superhero like this, you've done such a good job. We have a face, we have great hair, a smile. You have a place right in here to put your own superhero logo, so you can put your own first letter if you'd like, and you have a cape. When you're done at home, all you get to do for yourself, you get to color that any color you want. I hope you enjoyed doing that. So I want to tell you, thank you. Oh, yes, I was reminded, if you want that to be a girl, all you have to do is take this and extend it down. You might even want to put some eyelashes in there and make it look just fine. Just add a little bit more hair. It'll look fantastic. Now, I hope you've learned a little bit during visual arts. I know it's hard for us not to be together, but we really, really hope that this time together has been good for you.
Whoa, that was awesome. How Daniel was brave. Now I'm going to be brave. Pet this cat. Good lion. You like peanut butter? Maybe some milk? I was brave.